This is an interview with thinker and philosopher Ananda S. Shastri from Varanasi, India, taken by myself, Jason Deyo. This is on the various problems, questions, and doubts faced and raised by Western seekers, students, and common men at large. Anand Shastriji, I would like to welcome you. Namaste to you.
Thank you, Jason.
Shastriji, maybe the quintessential question asked by Western seekers, philosophy students, is something like, what is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of life? And why should we care?
The purpose of life. Purpose of life is, in a philosophical sense, identity of self with various kinds of activities. What we do, we want to identify the self in the society. That is the real purpose of human life. And then you say, how to implement this purpose, or what is the benefit of this purpose, or why to care for that. It is because humans are most superior creature on earth. They have not come on earth as other beings are on earth. We have creative talent, and due to that creative talent, we have so many things now around us. If you do not care for that, if you do not express your productivity, your creativity, your purpose of becoming a human being is lost. You may live without caring all this, a self-centered life, but that will lead you to depression, unrest, unhappiness, all that problems.
Shastriji, the next question is, what is lacking in the Western system of education?
There are dual responsibility on the system of education. One, to develop a productive talent, and second, to develop a human character. At present, the system of education, not only in America, but I think worldwide, the education has failed in development of human character. That is lacking not only in America, in other countries also. That means we are unable to give through education the ethics of life, the moral values, therefore so many problems. That is what we are lacking. Moral teaching.
Next question, Shastriji. How do we teach children in this age of social media, of pressures to look a certain way, to wear the certain clothing, all of these pressures the youth have today? How do we teach them to have self-confidence?
Self-confidence is the basis of building a personality, a healthy personality. Therefore, your question is very nice. Now, our children are surrounded by a big noise of informations coming from different social medias and internet and all that. One, we should make them know, because what is to be heard, what is to be seen, if it is not taken care of from childhood, what they have to see in 20 years of age, if they see it in 8 or 10 years of age, there will be an explosion. Why we are unable to give them self-confidence? First of all, the parents are not very caring. They are not caring for their children. Simply mechanically they are doing their duty. It is not emotional attachment is not there. For building confidence in children, the parents should have a very near and dear relationship. Then only it could be given to them. They may fight with each other. The children should not become the victim of it. Now what is happening? The fight of father and mother, victim becomes the children. They do not get that love, that affection. And anything from the childhood, if you want to inculcate or give, inject, then you should have that emotional attachment so that he loves you. And when you speak something, he agrees to it. Language of love we have lost. Therefore, unless that language is revived, the parents become responsible parents. They should not forget that their wife and husband as a personal relationship, and for the children, their father and mother. And especially in the adolescent age, the parents should be very, very cautious, because that is the age which takes a turn in a boy's or girl's life. At that time, if self-confidence is built, then she will be victorious or he will be victorious throughout his life. Therefore, for building confidence, that emotional attachment should be there. They should not be brought up as machines. Then they will become brute.
Shastriji, what is the most effective use, what is the proper use of this social media like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram? How should we use these new age tools properly?
They are very useful tools. It has minimized the distance between man to man. Any man in any corner of the earth can get in touch with any man on any other corner of the earth. So much in seconds we can get connected. What is the best use of this media is to communicate each other's problems, each other's ideas, each other's various types of queries with each other making. That means a emotional relationship should be brought with these tools. But now what is happening? We are not making good use of these platforms. Where we are erring or where we are committing mistake, first of all, we are not true with each other in communication on these media, on these platforms. We exaggerate ourselves, forgetting the goodwill or faith of others. I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so. And this, a kind of cheating we are making through these social medias with each other. I will be married But on the Facebook or Twitter I will say I am not married. I will start communicating, making some correspondence or some chatting with some unmarried girl. There have instances have come that through these internet social platforms, many men have married more than one or two girls. So it is a boon, it is a grace of scientists to the human society that these all things have come. We have to make good use. How to make good use? As I told you, to share the sentiments, feelings, taste, thoughts, and get nearer to each other from heart. And for that, truth is essential. We should be truthful on these platforms. We should not take false exaggeration of our personality. What we are, let us put it. God also says that if as you are, you come to me, I will take you up. Don't put any mask. So media should be used in a way to integrate the people of different castes, different religions, different societies, different languages, to unite them.
Shastriji, in this new age of technology with the Facebook and Twitter we just spoke of, all of the other luxuries, the high-speed internet, the planes, the trains, the automobiles, the microwave ovens, the washers and dryers, we have more free time than we used to have as laborers in the farm and whatnot. What do we do with all of this extra free time?
One has free time in life. It is a great thing. And you have asked how one should use this time is very precious. Three things we can do to make good use of time. To read noble books, thought-provoking books, spiritual books. That is one utility of spare time. Second utility, whoever needs your help, you give that time to them. Whoever needs your help in any aspect of life, if you are free, give him that time for social service and without anticipating anything from them. This is the second. All right. And the third one, you sit, if you have spiritual inclination, then you sit calmly and just chant the God's name if you have any faith in it or not. Just simply sit and be calm, be cool. See the things how going on. Attend, introspect where I am. I am with the noble or I am with the evil. Where I am. How much introspection means? Every night sitting calmly, or whenever time we find, then we sit calmly and introspect. See that. How many times I have hurt someone from my speech, from my act. How many times I have given help by my speech, by my act, to post-mortem the inner being. That is for intellectual specialty, that is very essential. Because common man cannot go so much inside. The intellectual seekers, the philosophy students, philosophy is not just knowing the things. Parallelly, what we know we understand, and when we understand, then realization, the third. And when we realize anything, when we follow it, follow the path, then we reach the destination. A man was there in a square. There were arrows put on different directions, that this is going to San Francisco, this is going to this place, that place, California, like that. He had to go to California. What he did, he just thought that these arrows are going to California. He just held it and just he was holding it very honestly. But the scenes did not change, California did not come. Like that, only knowing the philosophical conclusions is not sufficient. We have to trek the path, we have to take the journey. When you take the journey, then you realize. For intellectual, best use of this time to introspect, serve others who are middle. And to read the noble literature.
Shastriji, an extension of the philosophical questions of the individual then applies to the group and to government at the state levels and the national level. I would like you to speak into maybe a three-part question of the role of the individual citizen, the role of the local or state government, and the role of the national government, with the best wisdom possible. How are these three roles separate and how are they united?
Individual is the basic component of making a society, family, nation, all. Therefore, individual's thoughts, activities, behavior, all these three dimensions influence the family, the society and nation and state and nation. You have asked very good question. As an individual, we should always take care of others. This is the responsibility. Caring others as an individual. And now the individual, then you asked, how to be useful to others? By whatever resources we have. If I have a knowledge resource, with knowledge I have to be useful to others. If I have money resource, with money I have to be useful to others. If I have a good body, then as a physical work we should assist. If some old man is unable to cross the road, we should make him to cross the road. That is the responsibility as a citizen. Who is I should say, a good citizen. I shall not say perfect citizen. I will say, who is a good citizen? He is a good citizen who has a productive ability, that is, you ask responsibility of individual in the society. He should be productive in the society. Whatever profession we take up, all the professions are in the society. Society means every profession involves not an individual but a group of men. Therefore, the individual should be useful to others at his personal level. At the social level, he should be productive to enrich the society, to make it rich, and in the nation or state, he should be law-abiding. His responsibility is to abide the law. If there is a red signal, we have to stop. That is the responsibility of an individual as a good citizen. Production for the society and abiding the law for the state or nation. And then you came. What the state, local government should do, what is the responsibility of local or state government? Governments have dual responsibility, whether it is national or it is local. One responsibility to keep up law and order, first of all. That is the primary responsibility of, if there is something wrong going on, law and order, it is the weakness of the state. It is not fulfilling its responsibility. State has to look after law and order. That is primary. What is its secondary responsibility? To create resources so that people get jobs or work and they produce. Understand? Specifically these two. Creating resources for development, for employment, for making good use, productive use of talent coming out of colleges, schools, universities, in different faculties. To see to it that no talent is unused. Every talent is used. This is the responsibility of government, local government especially. It is all right.
That's
and
great.
Then the national government we come to allocate funds for different developmental work to states without partiality. To release the funds and to look after the borders of defense. Defense is not the subject of state. Defense is the subject of nation. National borders are secure. Where to send the army, where not to send. It is all decided by not state governments, local governments. It is decided by national government. So it is the responsibility to see for the national government that borders are secured. There is no any infiltration of any kind of drugs or weapons or anything, human trafficking. This is all national government has to see. Because anything is happening, it is from out of the country. This is one responsibility. And second, economic responsibility to release the fund to all the states according to their needs. That's all.
Shastriji, speaking to that state level and national level of the allocation of resources without partiality, in a down economy like we're experiencing now in the United States, with high unemployment rates, jobs being shipped overseas, what are the talented, educated, and non-educated, the laborers willing to work hard who can't find jobs? People willing to work, looking for work, trying to be responsible for themselves, their families. What advice do you give those who can't find work?
First, we have to here understand. First, we have to understand that the responsibility, as I told you, of making good use of workforce, human workforce, is the responsibility of state and nation. If there is unemployment, it is the mismanagement of state directly. They accept it or not, it is different thing. But it is solely goes to local governments and the central government. And secondly, second responsibility on whom? The whole philosophy working behind the economic system.
It's fine.
The philosophy behind the present economic system worldwide. It is profit making. That is the aim of economic enterprises or economic endeavors, economic efforts. Therefore, what is happening here, why unemployment is generated, why there is recession, when we go into it, deep into it, we find that this philosophy, yani to get the work done on minimum price and to resell it on maximum price. This is the philosophy. Get a shirt stitched for $1 and be sold in $10. So where I will get the work done in $1, there I will give the work. Why there is unemployment? Because local business houses and the governments, they are not worried anywhere the employment caused by their behavior, by their policies. They want to hire intellectual as well as physical labor from outside instead of employing their own citizen. Because they think that our own citizens are costly. When I can get it done in $1, why should I pay $2? There is no any big responsibility in business houses and in government that we are here to give opportunity for our own citizens first and then the rest. If this policy changes, if they are sharing some profits from their pockets, if they engage the local citizens who are jobless, if they are given the opportunity, I think the scene will be very different. And another, for them, skilled or unskilled, educated or uneducated, who are not employed at present, for them, my advice is always to search a job does not meet success. Then we have to see around that what with my physical ability, with my mental and intellectual ability, what I can do. And without hesitating, whatever work you get or you are able to do, don't think of what I will get $10 or $8. You say that I will work, give me work first. The money will come afterwards. They have to search their own path. Free entrepreneurship. Independent, no job, independent work. They have to make or search. Where as much work they will do, so much money they will get, like that. And what I feel in India also, here also, there also too much of unemployment is there. What I feel that a man who really wants to work he gets the work. So many idle people who are unable to do any work, they do not know to do any work, they are only unemployed. The talented persons are everywhere required in all economies. And the faulty economic thinking philosophy of the present day, these both have created this. The government should try to employ their own people first. They should sacrifice their profits for citizens of nation if they have some emotional attachment with them. And then who are unemployed, they should not reserve themselves, I will do this, I will not do that. Any work, a coolie work, simply voluntarily you offer your work. Just see, you will get the work. In India we have so much of facility. We have maid to sweep, to wash, because every house there cleaners are not there, dishwashers are not there. They are with very, very few. We have all kinds of services available there. Like that, let the people come to door. I will sweep your house. I will do this work. Whatever you will give, I will accept it. Why employment will not be there? You should be ready to do any work.
Shastriji, I'd like to segue from government back to the individual with this last dual question concerning the problem of terrorism. What is the role of both national government in terrorism, and what is the individual role in terrorism? Whereas currently we are trying to attack that which is attacking us. You understand? Seeking it out, drone strike missions, going abroad and looking for terrorists. Is that the right approach for the government? And what can we do as individuals?
The steps taken by the national government for tackling the terrorism is based on the principle of tit for tat. There is no any other thing in the thought. You have killed me, I will kill you. You have made my life miserable, I will make your life miserable. Understand? This is the guiding philosophy behind the steps taken by any government in any country. I am not speaking this for only America. Understand? Then, what steps should be taken for checking off this a very, very big danger, a powerful danger for the well-being of civil society. They are posing a great danger on the peace of the society. Unless you go to the root of the problem, you cannot find a proper solution. Any problem. Tit for tat is a suppressing. It is not solution. It is suppression. You have suppressed me in some way, I will suppress you. That is their doing. They are not finding solution to it. What is the solution to it? Solution to it is, there are many types of terrorists on earth at present. Some with their local interests, political, economic interests, there are terrorists. Some are guided by some philosophy. as Mao and other thinkers, communist thinkers. Communist terrorism is also there. And then we have religion-based terrorism. The most dangerous among them are two at present as I see it. One is the terrorism in the background of religion. Terrorism in the background of political thought. That means we have to understand this clearly, impartially, that the root of terrorism, one is in the religion and another in the political system. Therefore, first, the world has become very, very near to each other. America is a great country, a very powerful country. It should make overnight sit all the religious heads of all religion, including Pope also, in one place. And without any political interference between the communication between them, they should be told to find the solution for the future of humanity. Because they only can pacify this problem of terrorism which is going on at the level of religion. Because the followers of every religion are, if our Reverend Pope says anything, it has a great influence on the whole Christian society, Christian followers. Like that, every religious head has his control over the followers. If they outrightly reject terrorism, collectively, then night 12 o'clock terrorism will stop. But they should be honest. On the platform, they say all religions are equal, all are good, they meet with each other. That will not do. That artificial meeting will not do. A real determination that for the future of our children, we should not just give hatred and violence to our children. Something good we should give to our children. Because religion is as father of human race. Earth is mother of all of us. Religion is father. If father becomes angry, then everything goes out. So therefore, the religious set should be made to sit together and influence them, impress them, and sometimes pressurize them to find out the solution and come out. Because all are experiencing the danger of these such activities for the future of. We will just give in our will the hatred and violence to our children. I was hating you, you are hating me. I am giving this hatred to my children and you give to your children. The generations will go on in fighting with each other and making the earth the hell. And for the political thought instigated or stimulated terrorism, for that the leaders of those terrorist groups, they should also be brought on the talking table because they have their own argument to prove their activities to be justified. Let them come. Democratic world is going on now. They should sit. They should have debate what they need. They are also fighting for farmers, for laborers, as they pose themselves. So their truth will come out when they sit on the table of dialogue. Then they should be made aware that you come to the mainstream of the nation, and if you want political power, have elections, stand and get elected.
Shastriji, I'd like to move from that collective international talking table to the internal talking table, that dialogue with the self. I'm curious to know what, speaking of the fear of terrorism, what is our biggest fear as human beings? What do we fear the most internally, and how can we move past it?
Fear is a natural instinct. This we have inherited from animal stage. Fear is of two types. One positive fear, one negative fear. What is that positive fear? Fear to do any sin, any wrong, any injustice, any trouble for others. This is fear to do that. Fear to do wrong things. This is positive fear. This should be there. Fear of God. Why? He will punish. This is positive fear, which keeps the man on the right track. Now this fear has vanished. No fear of parents, no fear of teachers, no fear of law, no fear of God. Man has become as if he is the lord of his own and doing all negative activities. And what is the negative fear? Here negative fear is always, we fear with the unknown. What is known, we do not fear with. Unknown. What is? Death is unknown. Therefore we fear. Ghosts are unknown. Therefore we fear. The fear of death is the most powerful fear among all human race. Has fear of death. And then, more powerful, we in human society think, as the wisdom says, death is once. Nobody dies 2-3 times. Once death comes. What bad name is also a death, a kind of. Somebody, I have done something which brought me criticism. Oh, he is a very bad man. This is also a kind of death. That fear should be there. That my honor should not be, my prestige should not go down. I should not do any such work, any such thing, so that my dignity goes down. That is one fear. Then the fear of losing wealth. That is also a losing job. Job means wealth, wealth means job. When we do some work, then we earn money. That fear of that. Why there is so much, the next question will come when I will deal that, the depression. Why it is there? I will deal that. Here it is all right. If you have any sub-questions in it.
Well, you mentioned the fear of death. What is it that happens after death?
I cannot reply you very precisely because I have not encountered with death yet. Therefore, who has encountered death, he only can say what happens after. It is a mystery. And simply speculations I don't want to make any. Because different religions speak different things after death. Therefore, that is a controversial question. A common answer cannot be given.
Hence the unknown.
Hmm?
The unknown. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shastriji, as you mentioned, depression. Depression has become a pandemic in the United States today and most Western societies. I'd like you to speak to the source of depression and the solution to depression.
Depression is related with manas, we call it. Here we call it mind. What is depressed? Who is depressed? Mind is depressed. It is a psychological state of mind. Depression is. Why depression is this there, or why it comes? When man is unsuccessful, then depression comes. Where all we face unsuccess, first when we are getting education, when we do not climb the grades, we fail, then the student goes into depression. In many places where too much of pressure is there, even students suicide. Even students suicide due to this depression. They cannot bear it. And then unsuccess in education, in profession. If your work is not recognized, if you are not getting proper pay, remuneration for your work, when you face economic crisis in profession, no recognition, then the depression comes in professional life, in family life. Cause of depressions are scattered in different places. One in the profession, it is unsuccess, not getting a job. That brings depression. Man thinks, I cannot do anything, I am finished. His hopelessness. Depression brings hopelessness. Working ability is lost. And in the family also creates depression. When relationships are sour, understanding is not developed between different members of the family. You are not respected in the family or loved in the family. If you are not cared in the family, that brings depression. Do you understand this? Family is also has great deal to remove also. This is the cause of two aspects I have told you. In education, it is for students alone. In the professional life, not getting the job. If you even get the job, no job satisfaction, no recognition, making mistakes, and then not properly remunerated to meet the desires and needs of life. When you are unable to earn money, you will go to depression. When you are not in good terms with the family members, then also you will go tension afterwards, depression. tension is in the head, depression is in the mind. First you will be in tension when relationships are estranged, and that tension, if it prevails, it gets transformed into depression. Therefore, now we shall try to know the remedy, how to get out of depression. That is your question. In the family, we have to understand that when we are not loved, when we have nothing to be loved, do you understand that? When I will not be loved in my family, as a father or as a husband or as a brother, any relationship, when I will lose everything in me which could be loved. For love something you should have, then only people will love you. I should have something, then people will love me. If I do not have anything to be loved, then why anybody will love me? So first, to get rid of depression in the family, one should introspect and see that why he is so ugly or why he is so bad that people do not like him. He has to find out his shortcomings, his weaknesses. And when now what we are doing for our depression, we are blaming and victimizing others. Wife is victimizing Laura, victimizes Jason, Jason victimizes Laura. We are victimizing each other for our depression or tension. We do not understand that it is not because of anyone else. Because of self we are in that state. And we have our own self has to come out of that with the help of wisdom. Understand? So what is wisdom says? That do not blame others. What you have sown, that you have to harvest. Understand? So therefore we have sown the thorns. How can we get the flowers? We have to put the seed of flowers, then we will get flowers back. Seeing the seeds of thorns, we anticipate that flowers should come to us. So we have to see where we have sown thorns for others, where we have gone wrong. Everyone has to, who is in depression, he has to introspect in one way. That is one way of doing that, in the family especially. And then in the profession, these two things are there which bring depression. And one third stage of depression is there when some chronic disease is detected in the body, then also man becomes in depression. He becomes hopeless. No, I am finished. That also brings depression. For that, prayer is there. You always indulge in prayer if you are attacked with some chronic disease. Always be in prayer and always pray God to give you peace and health. Medicines, all you take that. But with that you should have prayer also. If you have no prayers, the medicines will not give good effects. Prayer plus medicine is equal to cure. On one side you should have medicine, on the other side prayer. For those who are attacked by chronic diseases or in depression, for them this solution is. Now in the profession, this again came man, again came something here. The Mac cannot iCloud. In the professional field, some psychic disease is there which is said to be guilty conscious. Always a kind of guilty consciousness that I am not beautiful and my work people do not like. It is wishful. It is not externally, it may not be so. always feeling guilty. That also brings depression. Therefore, one has to be very realistic in approach. We are imaginative in our approach. If imagine that somebody is abusing me, he may not be doing so, but we have. I had a woman who had come in Varanasi for staying there. It is a pilgrimage place. She is always doubtful that somebody is speaking against me. If somebody will come to me to meet, she will come and say, they were telling about me something. They were telling about me. Just, there was nothing of any sort of that. It is guilty consciousness. That also brings depression in professional field also. So therefore, I have only authority, or where we have to put our all attention to function in our work in most possible, best possible and honest way. If I am doing my work, this what I am doing now, giving an interview, if I am doing with honesty this work, with sincerity, with dedication, I am satisfied in myself. I will not worry for your recognition. You recognize it is a grace of God. But I have my own satisfaction that I have done to best of my ability. So everyone, if you are a nutritionist, you should not go for the result or the patient's reactions. You should have first inner satisfaction that I have treated him. I have given best possible advice according to my knowledge. That gives itself a satisfaction. If he follows it, it will always be beneficial. If he does not follow, it is nothing to be done. So therefore, you have to build your confidence in your work. I am working with best of my, and if you do it with service motive, then it will be recognized also. People will, so many times what happens, people do not praise you in front of you, and that praising is not good. If you praise me in front of, it is not very beneficial. When you praise me, appreciate me behind, that is more valuable. So you should know that from behind many times people will be praising you. But because they are not praising you in front, therefore you think that, oh, I have done so much of hard labor and no appreciation. I have done a good cooking with hard work. If you do not appreciate in words, I may feel that, oh, perhaps the dishes are not good. But it will not be so. Dishes will be good, but not necessary that appreciation words should come. Sometimes it comes also, sometimes it does not come. But I should not get depressed for that, oh, nobody appreciated my cooking, it is always. That should not come. I should be satisfied, you should be satisfied with your work, doing with full confidence. That itself is enough for your satisfaction, for your success.
Thank you. Shastriji, you answered a lot in that question. You mentioned combining prayer with meditation. You mentioned taking an honest personal inventory and introspection. This is a challenge for many Westerners who only look outside and not inside. So many Westerners feel that everyone else has to change in order for them to feel okay and to feel at peace inside. Can you say a little bit more about the role of prayer, God, and the individual's personal responsibility to themselves, to their own happiness?
First of all, the notion that when others change, then alone I will be changed. That means imposing the change on the environment. If environment changes, then I will change. That is what you said, the Westerners think. First of all, whatever change comes, it is from within it comes in human beings. In other stratums of visible world, the influence of environment on them is responsible for change. But in human beings, their own attitudes, their own thoughts, their own taste, they influence the environment. That means a change in man brings the change in environment. It is not environment-centered change in individual, but individual-centered change in the environment. Unless individual changes himself, he cannot expect, anticipate, deserve or desire the change in others. If I want to change others, because now what we are doing, we are victimizing others for our problems. We are not understanding this, that every individual himself is responsible for his problems and he has the capacity, authority to solve it. But instead of attending to that part, we just, as you said, that others change. Others are responsible for everything. I am not. Accountability of our own deeds, our own activities, our own behavior, our own thoughts. We do not to be accounted by anyone, but we account others. That is the outcome of illusory viewing the world and self and the environment. So first, one has to know that we have the right to change ourselves. I have right, I have authority to change myself. I have no authority to change you or anyone. I cannot do that. God cannot do. God cannot change anyone. Because man is so free, God has shown the path. Why God is there? Why God is necessary? One more short question yours may be there about the God also. But here, the meditation, the prayer, the God, what is the role of all this in getting the life more purposeful, peaceful, prosperous, happy? Isn't it? When we speak of meditation, one is the inner power is there, one is the external power is there. External power is in hands, legs, our tongue, our productive ability. There is. And one is the inner power. As the power, when is gone in it, we put it for charging a cell phone. So, inner power is exhausted in many ways when we speak, when we do different types of work. To regain that power, energy, inner self, we require meditation. It strengthens the inner being of everyone. Understand? And then God. God is truth. Truth is God. That means praying to God means what? That means accepting the truth and bow before the truth. Truth is light. Understand? As the sun is there, light, like that truth is also a light.
Thank you.
Therefore, one should be to make the life happy, purposeful, peaceful, prosperous and healthy. You have to look into yourself again and again and try to reform, rectify, self-rectification, self-purification, meditation, God. Both have on one side prayer. Prayer strengthens your inner being. Meditation is also a kind of prayer. To lift the mind from worldly things to the divine plane. That is meditation.
Shastriji, you speak of God and truth. How do we let that in? Aren't most of us blocked off from that? Isn't that a problem faced in our individual Western lives? Isn't something keeping our hearts and minds closed off from the truth of God? What is it that's keeping us closed off, and how do we open up that door?
When we accept the unreal as real, then the understanding of truth becomes impossible. Because if a man is in ignorance, if he accepts ignorance, there is all chances of light coming, knowledge of light. But if one thinks that he is enlightened, though he is in ignorance, but he thinks that I know, I am knowledgeable, I know the things. This inner feeling that I know everything, that stops from getting into the domain of truth. Because this itself is a fictitious experience to think that I know everything, I know all. What I am doing, that is right. To hold the thoughts as right, to hold the activities as right, to hold the behavior as right. Then doors are closed. When you accept that my thinking is not correct, I have done negative activities, I have ill behaved with someone. When you ill behavior, you think that it is right. She deserved that ill behavior, therefore I did that. This closes the doors for any kind of reform or rectification or change. And here I want to tell you that doing wrong is not so harmful as doing wrong, taking the plea as right. That is more dangerous. Doing wrong is not doing much harm, but taking that wrong as right, that is damaging the whole future. Because such man cannot reform at any time, because he always thinks that what he is doing, it is all right. What I think, that is all right. Then where is the chance of looking into it, looking into the self? One should come out from this is illusory state. Hey, she is hungry, perhaps. She told you? You edit it. So this is the illusory understanding of the life, of the world, That is making the man unhappy and all problems. Unless he gets out of it, this illusory viewing, illusory concepts which are not real. We are trapped in those concepts, illusory, ignorantly formed concepts about life.
I see.
We have to remove that. What was your question? You tell from there again. I will conclude this. Westerners,
How do we how do we open that door?
open the door to truth. That is, isn't it? That we are not heart-centered or mind, or you said how to open the mind and heart for truth.
Yes, we understand the harm in seeing the illusion as the reality. We understand taking the false as truth. How do we take in that wisdom to know the difference?
First, when disease is diagnosed, the remedy automatically comes. The men who understand, as you said, that we have taken wrong as right, it is all right. But how to come out of that trap,
Yes.
illusory trap? The one way, it is for the individual alone, I am telling, whatever. One way is to see what, in a practical way I am telling you, what others expect from me. We are not living up to the expectation of others. To get rid of from that illusory concepts which has made the man very, very self-centered, not caring for anyone, caring for self. This is the illusory concept because of. Therefore, first what you have to do, if you have understood the trap, to get out of that trap, first step, to see that with whom I am living, what they expect from me in family, in profession, in society, what they expect from me. Where I am not successful in providing or in giving their expectations, which is what is in my limit to do. What others are doing for me, one should not think. What I should do for others, that is truth, how to come into truth in the heart. The heart is the place which cares for others. Head is the place where one cares for self. So what is the disease of Western society, psychological disease? They are living in head, not in heart. And unless you enter into the domain of heart, you cannot be in truth. Head always conspires. Therefore, we are living more in head and less in heart. That illusory concept, from where it has come, from the head it has come. From the reasoning it has come. From the thoughts it has come. So we have shift our attention from reasoning to emotions. Heart is the center of emotion, sensations. We are losing sensitiveness. Therefore I told you, if you want to, if anyone wants to enter into the domain of truth, he has to be in the heart. And how to be in the heart? Practice not caring for self much, caring for others. Always think of what can I do for others. Though it will be very difficult for the Western in this country, I think, because our mind is always practiced, our head is practiced to think of self. Therefore, thinking for others will be a matter of practice again. But when you understand once from inside that we are really an illusory concept, I have to get rid of from here, then you will put a honest effort for that. Then you will care for cat's water is there or not, his food is there or not, Laura has taken or not. All this thinking will come. That is the way.
Thank you. Shastriji, you speak of the open heart we need to accept this wisdom of the sages, this truth of God, this spiritual wisdom. Is there purpose behind the fact that we were not born with this knowing? A reason why we weren't born understanding this?
Physically, every one of us is animal. Only mental and intellectual achievements make the man. Why we did not inherit this wisdom by birth? Because spiritual wisdom is to be acquired by our efforts, by our positive thinking. We have to get into that. Humans have no privilege or independence to get the spiritual wisdom automatically or naturally. To have the spiritual wisdom means to become a true man. A man of spiritual wisdom lives a true life, a truthful life. That is the symptom of spiritual wisdom. He gets guided by noble forces, engages himself for the good of one and all or others or around who are around him. Spiritual wisdom, for that spiritual wisdom means what? As I told you, in education system, we have two responsibilities. One is to give the child with his physical growth, a knowledge, a productive talent developed, and on the other side, make him spiritual, to make a man, to make him spiritual. Because spirituality only could make any human being a true human being.
Okay.
Therefore, it is to be injected. That is human character development, I told you. Ability and nobility, both should be developed parallelly in the child. Ability development is in the colleges or schools or universities. And where the nobility develops, it develops in the family and in society. Two places are there. So it should come from parents, from elderly persons in the family, and then by with the teacher it should come. Spiritual awakening means what? To get rid of from the trap of evil forces and get governed by noble forces. That is spiritual life. Very easy to live. And here we should not confuse spirituality with religion. A religion is separate, I will not say different, and spirituality is separate. Why? Religion came to make the man spiritual. If religion is making the man spiritual, then its presence in the society is justified. And such pursuit, if any religion takes, then the result will be peace and harmony among the followers. They will live in love with each other. Understand, spirituality means what? To have love for others, sacrifice for others, to serve others, to forgive others. That is spirituality. So we have not privilege of that with physical growth. We do not inherit that spiritual attitude or spiritual wealth or spiritual wisdom. We have to acquire it, and the main responsibility goes on parents, father and mother.
Shastriji, you point out that humans are essentially animals without being injected with spiritual truth and knowledge and love. And you point out that that comes from the primary source of this is the mother and father. So today in the West, today in America, where half of all the marriages in this country end in divorce, and millions of children are born to unwed mothers, I have a question about our sexual nature. How do we come to terms with our sexual nature in a spiritual way? It seems this is information we need a great deal of in this society of divorce, because without the capacity of the joint family to pass on the knowledge to the children, the love, the wisdom, my question is, how should we understand our sexual nature, and how can we use spiritual wisdom to achieve a healthy sexual life?
First, let us understand the purpose of sexual pleasure in human life. Are we here only to have that sexual pleasure as much as possible, in as many ways as possible? Is it the purpose of sexual pleasure? When we see from the eyes of wisdom, we find that the purpose of sexual pleasure is reproduction, yani producing the children. That is the main purpose of sexual pleasure. Other than that, if we are using it, we are not understanding the purpose of this very, very uncomparable pleasure. It cannot be compared with anything. Here what has happened now, we have no higher goals in life. We do not understand that there is any pleasure superior to sex pleasure. We do not have any idea about that. If we would have any idea about that higher pleasure, then we would have gone for that and not only just fall victim to this sexual pleasure. Because it is what it is said that as much you will take sexual pleasure, so much the desire for it will go on increasing. It cannot be satisfied. For the moment it gets satisfied and again it erupts. Therefore, this pleasure is not for just enjoying. Its main purpose is what? Reproduction, producing children. That is the positive purpose of the sexual pleasure. And then one has to divert his attention or her attention from that pleasure. Your attention will be diverted automatically because anything in excess when you do, it will damage. Anything in excess, extremist thought, extremist activity, extremist behavior, all will land you in problems. So if there is excess of sex in life, that will land you in problems, many times of mental and physical. Therefore, here or anywhere in the world you can say, we have thought that why we are born to earn money, accumulate comforts and enjoy the pleasures. Above this, we are not thinking anything about spiritual life or God or anything. That is all very secondary things. Primary thing, earning money, accumulating comforts, enjoying the pleasures, all kinds of pleasures. And that too without understanding our limitations. Everyone has limit, how much he can take. And we are just going out of limit. When you go out of limit, you explode because body will not contain it. The mind will not contain it. It will explode. Then it will go for psychic diseases, many types of physical diseases, stress, sometimes depression. You have enjoyed sexual pleasure and then you are unable to enjoy it. That takes down the manas, mind. Because you have this much of span of time and this much of pleasures you have. In this span of time, you have to divide it that how much pleasure I have to take gradually. If you take this much of pleasure in this much of time, this much of gap came here. Then you will be unable to take any pleasure. Then that position is more dangerous for mind. Then it will land you in a kind of melancholy, a kind of disinterest in things. You will lose the enthusiasm from inside for living. So sexuality should be controlled in a way that we are to understand it first intellectually in woman and man both should understand that this is not only the pleasure of the human life, there are higher pleasures also. We should search for that. And when you come in true love with anyone, male and female, wife and husband, then you will be sleeping side by side, talking and everything. You will not have any sex. Because the divine love is water and sex is a fire. Desire of sex is fire. How it could be extinguished with the water of that pure love? When it is poured on manas, then that fire is cool and calm. You are not. And the pure love which we call the life, which we call the God, love is God. That which kind of love is God? Which is above physical attraction, beyond physical attraction. That is pure love. When you have that, then you will not go for sex every now and then. The desire, that fire will be extinguished, calm.
Shastriji, you've spoken of these limitations, the wise instruction of placing intelligent limitations on life in order to succeed in happiness and satisfaction. I'm curious about the limitations of food. You've spoken of the adage of feed the stomach and not the tongue, which I like. And I would like you to say a few words about your own vegetarian lifestyle. And in addition to that, I have a question for Westerners. Do you feel it's possible for Westerners to eat animal products and still live a spiritual life?
Actual spiritual life has nothing to do with our eating habits, first of all. Eating habits are cultivated from the childhood. The type of food we consume continuously, that we like to take. It is different in different countries. Now you speak about the animal product. Here I have to clear it that what you are eating is not important. How you are eating it, that is most important. What is the method of your eating? Animal product is only allowed when the animal is sacrificed in a religious way. When it is not sacrificed, then it should not be taken. Every religion has a tradition of sacrifice of animals. Every religion has it. Even now Muslims, they sacrifice chanting some kalmas of Quran, that animal, and then they eat that meat. Understand? Like that in Hinduism also, there is a bali for deities, different deities. Like that in Christianism also, there is sacrifice in the name of God. So when you sacrifice in the name of God or any superpower, any divine power, then what will happen? That the remain will not create any evil thoughts in you. It will not make you cruel. Why animal products were prohibited in the spiritual path? Because animal products create unkindness, a kind of cruelty. Heart becomes hard. You cannot feel anybody's grief, anybody's pain, anybody's sorrow. It becomes like stone, taking the animal products. Therefore, it is forbidden. That main purpose of spirituality is to blossom the heart. Heart is the place where God dwells, according to the traditional belief. God is where God is. The Geeta also says, Bible, most of the scriptures say so. So where God is there, there it becomes without God. Without means the sensitiveness of God. That is vanished there. Therefore, animal product is only allowed then when it is sacrificed. And again, one more what we want to tell, that all these things, they are the produce of nature. Nature is the produce of that Almighty God. Understand? Our dollars, paper currencies are not making anything. It is all made in the nature, fruits, flowers, vegetables, grains, whatever we are eating, or animals also. They are from the nature coming up. And by whose grace? It is the grace of God, angels, gods, or Almighty God. So when the negative effect of animal product could be fought or could be minimized, when before eating anything you offer it to God mentally, not thinking that I am eating for my body health or just enjoying. I am not taking anything. I am taking it as the remain of, as the boon of, as the grace of Almighty God. So just remember for a second and then take the water, food, tea, coffee, anything. Then it will, when it is offered to God, even the poison becomes nectar when it is offered to God. So that is the one way to purify the food, to sanctify it. Then its evil effect on our mind and body could be resisted.
Shastriji, sacrifice in the name of God assumes the existence of God, which is a challenging belief for many Western seekers. What do you say to Westerners when they ask you, what is your proof for the existence of God?
First we have to understand what is God, who is God. Then the question of proof comes, isn't it? What is God? First we have to understand this. And then who is God? Two questions come here. You ask the question in a way as if God is some personality. You can give proof of visible things. What proof you can give for invisible things? You have to experience it. You have to feel it. If I ask you, give me the proof that air is here, what proof you will give? You might say that you are breathing, that makes the proof. The air is touching your body, that is the proof. Experience, feeling is the proof of invisible things. Visible proof cannot be given for that. And somebody asks for it means he does not know his own question, what he wants to understand. One thing here. First of all, God, Almighty God, is no personality. He is abstract, invisible, absolute. That is the form of God. All right. How to experience, you can ask for that. How to experience that abstract, absolute, infinite, unlimited, unbound, Almighty God, how to experience it. All experiences, what we have in the world or in the cosmic world, in the spiritual domain, because God is a subject of spiritual domain. It is not the worldly domain, isn't it? Whatever existence of God is there in whatever form, that is in the spiritual area, not in the worldly area. We do not see any God on earth or do not accept anyone as God in the visible world. And many religions say that there could not be any incarnation or the Almighty God come in human form. That is not possible, also some religions say. Isn't it? When we say that God exists, the best proof of that is we, I and you all are here on this earth and many systems around us is functioning without our own effort. Because anything is happening without action, there could not be any reaction. All right. When there will be action, then only reaction will come. So many automatic functioning is going on. Are we making any effort to breathe? Is it automatic breathing, sleeping, walking, jogging, eating, sleeping? Everywhere this breathing is going on. Who is doing it? Automatic system. Who has invented this? Who has made this system? Anything is there, so maker will be there. Without a maker, a making will not come. Like that, we are free to eat, but digestion is going on automatically. Food is digested automatically. For that, we are not doing any effort. When overeating is there, indigestion is there, then somewhat we can take. But in normal course, digestion is an automatic system going on. So what we see from our external world also, we see that trees are growing, flower is coming up, fruits are coming up. The seed, who has made the seed? Humans. Humans can only transform the things to their comfort and their use. Humans cannot invent, cannot produce any original thing. Whatever scientists have produced, they are all the combination of the things in the environment. Different things we have taken up and combined it and made it for. This is all computers. From where it has come? Is it any original produce of human brain, any of things used in this? It is all from nature. Copper, aluminium, steel, everything, whatever components of semiconductors. From where the raw material is coming for anything, for all pharmacy produces, it is all from the nature coming. Is it not? So who has created all these natural things? Here we say, I am not personifying God. I am saying that Almighty God is a law, as a divine law he is functioning. And he is taking care of everything to be in their own place. Why sun is not colliding with moon, or some planets do not collide with each other? How they are moving on their own path? Who is regulating them? Some law is functioning, that is regulating the things. Only humans are free on this whole visible world who can adhere to the law or who can break the law. Otherwise, all celestial bodies are functioning according to the law. They are not unlawful. Everything, trees, fruits, everything, they are functioning in a lawful manner. We are only supposed to protect that law and follow that law. Unfortunately, because that spiritual wisdom is not there in man, he is not understanding this, that God is everywhere, anywhere. We have to feel it. We have to experience it in many ways. Who has put the juice in the fruit? Who has put it? You will say nature. Who has made the nature? Then a law is functioning above all. If you do not accept any personality God, at least you have to accept the law as God. And that law is functioning on the foundation of truth and justice.
Shastriji, one more question about God, the existence of God. For Westerners, understanding your background as a man with a Hindu background coming from India, what is your feeling or opinion about Jesus Christ?
In my feeling, Jesus is Son of God, Messenger of God, came on earth for liberating us from the bondage of sin and wicked life and show us the path of truth, love, sacrifice. He came for that purpose. And he gave his blood for our sins. What the crucifixion is actually, it is he gave his life. Have you read the moments of his crucifixion in Bible? How it is to read the passages, how painful it is. Do you know that at the time of crucifixion, Jesus was left alone and alone and alone. Nobody was there with him. The so-called atheist, I shall say, anybody who has faith in any form of God, he will not be violent. He will not hate anyone. He will not just have ill will with anyone. So when he was crucified, he was alone. Everybody left him. And he was put on the cross to actually clean or liberate us from our sins. He was, you can take him as incarnate God also, because in Hindu philosophy, the light of God is in everyone. Light of God, with the light of God, that is soul. That is the light of God. Soul is everywhere and anywhere. So that, in that terms, you can take him as a God also. He has shown a path. We have to follow it. Becoming Christian is not very important. If you do not follow the path shown by Jesus, then what is the use? If you follow the path, you will have to love your neighbor. You will have to be ready to serve a sick person. You cannot deny that. You cannot hate your neighbor because he is not a Christian. It is not said that you only love Christians and hate others. Jesus never said that. Jesus said that love all, with love you win them. How you will win my confidence or my faith or my love? By giving me love. When you give me love, I will love you. The God also says that you love me, I will love you. Jesus has said, you love me, I will love you. I will see that you are protected. But we have to accept, we have to accept the Jesus in true terms, in real terms of following. That is, I told you, knowing the Christianity, get initiated in Christianity, is all right. I do not oppose it. But more important is to follow the principles given in the scripture. And if you really follow, I tell you, you cannot, anyone on this earth, even a criminal, you cannot hate. Because truth and God is there in criminal also. You have to hate the criminality, crime, not the criminal. You will have sympathy for him if you become a real Christian or real Hindu or real Buddhist, any religion. You will have to love him because God is there. You are loving the God. And your God is everywhere, anywhere.
Shastriji, the seekers in the West are becoming more and more interested in meditation. And previously, meditation had been thought of in many ways here in the West as a contemplation or a dialogue, a meditative discussion, a meditative thought. However, in the Eastern schools, we learn a different form of meditation, a form of various forms to still the mind, still the body, breath control, various asanas. What can you say to someone from the West who is beginning meditation for the very first time? What would your instruction be to a first-time meditation student?
Meditation is no activity. Meditation, we take that it is an activity. We have to do it. To be true, meditation is no activity. Meditation is the nature of mind, manas. It is the nature. We have to shift the point of meditation from worldly things to spiritual things. Understand? We are always meditating. While cooking, you are meditating. While you are talking, you are meditating. Meditation is the nature of mind. When we are in sex, we are meditating. When meditation breaks, the mind loses its nature, then we say, oh, I am bored, I am boring. Because the mind has lost the meditation. Meditation is a state of mind. It is always there in the world. Why in spiritual terms we speak of meditation? To shift that point of attention, point of concentration from exterior things to inner being. Do you follow this? It is only shifting of point of concentration and attention. Most of the time we are concentrated and attentive to external things. And that when we are attentive and concentrating on external things, then we are spending the energy. For accumulating the spent energy, we have to meditate inside. That means to shift that focus from outside to inside. From inside focusing, you have first to make your body still. When body is still in a posture where no stress is on any part of your body, comfortably you can sit, and then first for the initial stages, sit calmly and just look into the inner world, what is going on, what thoughts are coming and going, what sensations are coming and going, what memories are coming, what future planning is going. All this goes on in inner world. You, in the first instance of meditation, first step off, to take the mind from one place to another place, you have to become an observer. Observe the things without making any attachment ego with all the thoughts, sensations, memories, plannings, whatever it comes inside during that period when you sit calmly and not seeing outward anything. All the organs, sense organs inside. Hearing, seeing, eye should be shut. And it is good that first when you shift to that observance, then you should have concentration on your breath. Control of breath is very important. Control of breath means what? Not too deep breathing, not too above breathing. Most of the time we will be breathing from here. That's all. Breathing should go from here. That means you inhale the whole air slowly and slowly you exhale. The exhale slowly you should exhale. When you became observer for some time, then you concentrate on the breath. That is the first step for the beginners.
Shastriji, please continue. Please say more. How do you explain this observer you speak of to the Westerner as different from the mind? This observer or witness. And second to that, what direction do you give to the advanced student, to the Westerners who have spent several years in meditation and are very comfortable in this observer witnessing position, who have control over the breath now? What is the next step for them?
You first asked, who is the observer? So here I should say that I or ego is the observer. Ego gets attached with thoughts, with sensations. In meditation, what we have to do, we have to keep aside the ego as observer, and thoughts and sensations, they are separate from ego. We have to feel that. As we see from eyes external scenario, so as the ego has to see the inner scenario without involving or indulging in anything, nor obstructing any thought, any sensation, nor encouraging any thought. Like that, that is one. And who have lifted themselves above this observer level or breath control, they should now concentrate on light in the heart. They should imagine that when they are sitting in meditation, the light is emanating from heart and it is spreading rays from toe to head. That feeling of light radiating from heart. And that light should not be the light of sun. That should be light of moon, cooling light. As the fluorescent lamps come, cooling light, not piercing. That you have to keep in mind, that a light is emanating from here, and concentrate whole as much as possible on this heart. That is the next.
Shastriji, can you further explain what is the ego? What is the role of the ego, the nature of the ego, its positives, its negatives, and what you feel must be done to utilize it?
Ego, in Indian psychology, ego is also an inner organ. As intellect is an organ, so as ego is also an organ, just attached with intellect, the origin. Where the ego resides, it is in the buddhi or intellect it resides. From here, the ego goes out. It is the passenger of this body machine, vehicle. His whole body is a vehicle, and ego is the passenger of this vehicle, not the driver. What is the negative use of ego? Though it is not the driver, it has no training of driving this vehicle, the ego, it becomes the driver of the vehicle and lands this body vehicle into accidents. Because he is a passenger of this vehicle, he is not driver. But we take him as driver, and ego drives. And this driving of ego lands the body in many kinds of diseases and problems and all that. This is the negative use of ego. One should understand that ego is the passenger and the driver is wisdom. Wisdom is the driver of this vehicle, should be the driver of it, because wisdom knows how to run the vehicle. Where are the pits, where are the humps, how to save it, how to take it on a safe path. Wisdom knows it. Ego does not know it. So there we have made a mistake, that we have given our body in the hands of ego. And another function of ego. Ego is the organ which feels and claims that he is doing everything. This is the second function of ego. One, it has become the driver of the body, vehicle. And second, what it has done, it claims and feels that he is doing, ego is doing everything. I am doing, I have done it, I have to do it. This doership. Whereas it is also because of illusion and ignorance. Everything is happening. We are only the instruments of those happenings. Nobody is doing anything. Nor you are taking interview with me, nor I am giving it. It is happening. We are only performing our duty as an interviewer and as I am giving an interview. It is a happening. We are not doing it. If we think that we are doing it, the ego has come into it. Understand? Therefore, the second negative use is to think that I have earned it, I have done it, I will do it, it is mine, I and my, these two functioning of ego. I is with activities, thinking, and my with possessions. Whatever we possess, we think it is mine. It is mine, everything is mine. Like that we think. Whereas it is not so in the real sense. In terms of law, in terms of principles, in terms of the eye of wisdom, when we say that everything is happening, we are fictitiously think that I am doing, I have done it. And secondly, whatever we possess, house and cars and comforts, this is all is given by the nature. It is given by the society. It is given by the environment. Though we can say that it is a reward for our work, for the duty we performed in the society. In return, we got the house, we got the car, we got the different items of comfort. How we all got it? When we performed our duty. In return, we got it. But we have to be obliged that I have authority to do my duty. But the comfort given by society, we should be obliged to the society. They have recognized the work, they have recognized my duty, and they have given me all this comfort. Therefore, these comforts are not made by me. It is given by you. If you are a spiritualist, you will say that God has given me. If not, it is given by the environment. If the environment would not have recognized your talent, your work, your duty, then how you would have got it? Therefore, you have given me so much of comfort here for 10, 12 days. So I should be obliged to you. On the other side, you should also be obliged that you have come here from that thousands of miles. That is your duty. But what is my duty? I should get obliged from you that you have given me comfortable living, you have looked after me, taken care of me. I'm grateful to you. That feeling I should have in my mind. Then ego will not come there. That because of my knowledge I am here, because of my learning. That I will not have it on my own. When any success if you take on your own, then it becomes a failure in life. The success is always from others it is coming to us. The failures it is because of our own shortcomings. Our own weaknesses we fail. And whatever success is there, it is coming from others. Cooperation of others, recognizing of others.
I love the description of the ego as the passenger and wisdom as the driver. And such that these things come into being as such without ownership. So at the risk of putting my foot in my mouth now and asking how to take ownership of the last question, what can we do specifically? What can we do immediately as soon as we press stop on this recording? What is one simple effort, one simple action Westerners can take immediately to bring peace and harmony?
The one step which I can suggest to bring peace and harmony is to love. Love whoever comes in contact. Love brings peace in life. You love your enemy also. The rays of love brings peace. Love should emanate from every individual. That is the work of heart. You give heart to others, you take heart of others. Don't collide the heads. Stop this. It is more invest. Exchange of hearts with each other. You love him. What is he? Who is he? Don't think of that. Love humans. Love animals. Don't hurt anyone. Try to. That is the way. What one sentence you asked. Love is the foundation for peace and harmony. For individual, for family, for society, for nation, everywhere. When you have love, then you have peace automatically. And love will be only there when you are truthful. When truth is there, then love is there. Truth in me and truth in you, when they unite, that is love. The truth is not in head, truth is in heart. Therefore I say that we should awaken the heart to solve the problems. Not so. Do you have any sub-questions in it? If you can put it. That's what I feel, that this is the solution for that. The first step every individual, a man with wisdom has to do, without irrespective of caste, religion, or anything of rich or poor. For that no money is to be spent for loving anyone. Without spending anyone, you can become spiritual. But just loving others. Oh, how are you? A few words of solace to a man in grief, that will give him life.
Love is the answer. Thank you so much, Shastriji, for giving this interview. I hope you'll come back to America soon.